Every morning, before the world demands anything from you, before the noise, the pressure, the expectations, you are given a choice, a powerful choice. You can wake up and let life control your mind, or you can wake up and take control of your life. Most people don't realize this. They roll out of bed already tired, already stressed, already behind. They grab their phone before they even stand up. They let bad news, emails, and other people's problems shape their mood. And before they know it, their day is running them. They tell you strength is in your body, in your fists, in how hard you can hit, how fast you can run, how much weight you can carry. But real strength starts somewhere else. It starts in your mind, because your body will only go where your mind is willing to take it. You can have talent, you can have skill, you can have opportunity. But if your mind is weak, none of it matters. A weak mind quits early. A weak mind listens to fear. A weak mind makes excuses sound like truth. And life is always looking for cracks. It looks for moments when you're tired, when you're frustrated, when you're disappointed, when you feel like you're not enough. And in those moments, your mind decides who you become, not your muscles, not your money, not your connections, your thoughts. Because every action starts as a thought. Every victory starts as a belief. Every failure starts as doubt. The mind is the control center. It tells you when to stop. It tells you when to push. It tells you when to try again. And most people let their mind work against them. They wake up already defeated, already worried, already behind. They replay old failures. They remember old insults. They carry old regrets like they're fresh wounds. And then they wonder why they feel stuck. A mind like that becomes a prison. You don't see opportunity. You see risk. You don't see growth. You see fear. You don't see possibility. You see limits. But a trained mind is a weapon. It turns pressure into fuel. It turns pain into power. It turns setbacks into lessons. It doesn't run from struggle. It steps into it. It doesn't wait for permission. It creates momentum because it knows something most people forget. Nothing in life bends to comfort. Life bends to strength. And strength is built first in your head. Every time you say, I can't, your mind remembers. Every time you quit early, your mind learns. Every time you settle, your mind adjusts its standards. And one day you wake up living a life you never dreamed of because your mind stopped believing in more. That's how people get trapped. Not by circumstance, not by bad luck, not by other people, but by the limits they accepted in their own head. You weren't born with fear. You weren't born with doubt. You weren't born believing you were small. You learned that, which means you can unlearn it. You can rebuild your mind. You can teach it strength. You can train it to stand tall. You can condition it to push forward when everything says stop, because your mind is listening to you every day. It hears how you talk to yourself. It feels what you believe about yourself. It remembers what you expect from yourself. And it becomes that. If you treat your mind like a battlefield, you prepare for war. If you treat your mind like a weapon, you sharpen it. If you treat your mind like your greatest asset, you protect it. Because the world will test you. It will challenge you. It will doubt you. It will try to break you. And when it does, your mind steps forward first, not your body, not your resume, not your past. Your mindset, that voice in your head will either say, you're done or stand up. And that voice decides everything, every comeback, every breakthrough, every transformation. It's the difference between staying down and rising again. It's the difference between watching others win and becoming one of them. It's the difference between surviving and becoming unstoppable. Your mind is not just part of the fight. It is the fight. And the one who controls it controls the outcome. Motivation is loud. It shows up in bursts. It comes when the music is playing, when the crowd is cheering, when everything feels possible. But motivation is a visitor. It doesn't stay. It disappears when you're tired, when you're frustrated, when progress feels slow, when nobody is watching. And that's when most people quit. They wait to feel ready. They wait to feel inspired. They wait for the perfect moment. But the perfect moment never comes, because life doesn't wait for you to feel good. It moves forward whether you're ready or not. Discipline is different. Discipline shows up when you don't feel like it, when your body says stop, when your mind says rest, when your heart says quit. Discipline doesn't care about your mood. It cares about your mission. It doesn't ask how you feel. It asks who you want to become. Motivation makes you start. Discipline makes you finish. Motivation makes promises. Discipline keeps them. Motivation is the spark. Discipline is the fire, and every great life is built on fire. The truth is simple. You won't always feel strong. You won't always feel confident. You won't always feel ready. There will be days you wake up tired, days when the weight feels heavy, days when the road feels too long, and on those days, motivation will be silent, but discipline will still be there, waiting, asking, demanding. It will remind you of the commitment you made when you were brave. It will remind you of the promise you made to yourself. It will remind you of the version of you that refuses to stay small. Because discipline is self-respect in action. It's saying, I matter enough to show up. It's saying, my future matters more than my comfort. It's saying, I won't betray myself for a moment of ease. Every time you choose discipline, you build trust with yourself. And trust is power. When you trust yourself, you move with confidence. When you trust yourself, you stop second guessing. When you trust yourself, you stop making excuses. But when you break promises to yourself, your confidence breaks with them. You start doubting your own word. You start questioning your own strength. You start shrinking your own dreams. And that's how people fade. Not in one big moment, but in 1,000 small surrenders, one skipped workout, one unfinished goal, one delayed dream, until they forget who they wanted to be. Discipline keeps that fire alive. It protects your vision. It carries you through the hard days. It keeps you moving when motivation disappears. Because success is not built on how you feel. It's built on what you do. And what you do day after day becomes who you are. You don't rise when it's easy. You rise when it's hard. You don't grow when it's comfortable. You grow when it hurts. And discipline stands with you in those moments. It says one more step. It says not today. It says you're stronger than this. And every time you listen, you become stronger, not just in your body, in your character, in your will, in your identity. Discipline turns ordinary people into unstoppable forces. It turns dreams into plans. It turns plans into action. It turns action into results. It's quiet. It's steady, it's relentless, and it never lets you forget what you're capable of. Because the real power is not in feeling ready, it's in showing up anyway. And that's how legends are built. Morning is not just a time, it's a direction. It's the first message you send to your life every single day. And life listens. The way you wake up decides the way you walk into your future. Most people don't wake up, they escape their sleep. They stumble into the day already tired, already rushed, already behind. They open their eyes and feel pressure. They feel fear. They feel weight on their chest before their feet touch the floor. And that feeling follows them everywhere. Because the day doesn't reset itself. It builds on how you started. If you start scattered, your thoughts scatter. If you start angry, your patience disappears. If you start defeated, your confidence fades. Morning is the foundation. And whatever you build on a cracked foundation eventually collapses. Your mind in the morning is soft, open, impressionable. It absorbs everything. The first thought becomes the tone. The first emotion becomes the rhythm. The first decision becomes the direction. And most people hand that power away. They let notifications decide their mood. They let bad news decide their energy. They let other people's urgency decide their pace. They wake up reacting. And reaction is not living. Reaction is survival. When you don't control your morning controls you. And when your morning controls you, your day owns you. And when your day owns you, your life drifts. Drifting looks calm, but it's dangerous. Because drifting feels like moving until you realize you're going nowhere. Every strong life is built on intentional mornings. Not perfect mornings, not easy mornings, intentional ones. Mornings where you choose who you are before the world tells you. Mornings where you remind yourself what matters. Mornings where you decide that today is not just another day, it's another chance, another step, another brick in the life you're building. Your future is shaped in small moments. And the smallest moment with the biggest impact is the one right after you wake up. That's when discipline is tested. That's when identity is formed. That's when direction is chosen. You can press snooze on your alarm, but you're really pressing snooze on your potential. You can stay in bed, but you're staying away from the life you say you want. Every time you delay the morning, you delay your growth. Because growth lives in discomfort. Growth lives in effort. Growth lives in choosing what's hard now, so life can be easier later. Morning is where excuses are born. But it's also where warriors rise. It's where dreamers become doers. It's where ordinary people start becoming dangerous, not to others, to limits, to fear, to the version of themselves that used to settle up. Morning is a mirror. It shows you who you really are, not who you talk about being, not who you wish you were, but who you choose to be when nobody is watching, when the room is quiet, when the world is asleep, when the only voice you hear is your own. That voice can say just 5 more minutes, or it can say get up, and that choice echoes all day long. It follows you into your work. It follows you into your decisions. It follows you into your relationships. It shapes your confidence. It shapes your discipline. It shapes your future. Strong mornings create strong days. Strong days create strong habits. Strong habits create strong lives. And weak mornings steal from you quietly. They steal your focus. They steal your edge. They steal your belief. Until one day you look around and wonder where your fire went. But it never left. You just stop lighting it. Morning is the match. And what you ignite there burns through everything that comes after. Confidence is not loud. It doesn't announce itself. It doesn't brag. It doesn't beg for attention. Real confidence is quiet. It's steady. It's grounded. It stands when everything around it is shaking. And it's not something you're born with. It's something you build. Most people think confidence comes from winning, from success, from approval, from being told you're enough. But that kind of confidence disappears the moment life pushes back. Because life always pushes back. Pressure shows up. Criticism shows up. Failure shows up. And if your confidence is built on applause, it collapses in silence. Real confidence is built in private. When nobody is watching, when nobody is cheering, when nobody is clapping. It's built in the mornings, in the discipline, in the promises you keep to yourself. Because confidence is not believing you're perfect. It's trusting yourself. Trusting that you won't quit. Trusting that you'll show up. Trusting that you'll stand back up when you fall. Every time you do what you said you would do, your confidence grows. Every time you push when it's uncomfortable, your belief gets stronger. Every time you choose effort over excuses, you send a message to your mind. You say, I can be counted on. And that belief changes everything. It changes how you walk into a room. It changes how you speak. It changes how you carry yourself. You stop shrinking. You stop waiting for permission. You stop apologizing for your ambition because you know what you're capable of, not because someone told you, but because you proved it to yourself. The world is full of voices. Some will doubt you. Some will underestimate you. Some will try to define your limits. And if you haven't built your confidence beforehand, you'll believe them. You'll hesitate. You'll hold back. You'll play small, not because you lack ability, but because you lack belief. That's why preparation is power. When you train before the test, you walk in calm. When you prepare before the pressure, you stand tall. When you build your confidence before the world judges you, their opinions lose their weight. You don't need approval. You need conviction. And conviction comes from knowing you did the work. Confidence is built when you show up on the days you don't feel strong. When you keep going when progress feels slow. When you stay disciplined when motivation disappears. Those moments don't feel heroic. They feel heavy. They feel lonely. They feel invisible. But they are shaping you. They are building your backbone. They are hardening your will. And one day, when life puts you on the spot, you won't panic. You won't freeze. You won't doubt yourself because you've been here before. You've fought in silence. You've trained in the dark. You've carried the weight when nobody cared. And now you're ready. That's the difference between hope and confidence. Hope wishes. Confidence knows. Hope waits. Confidence moves. Hope asks, what if? Confidence says, watch me. And the world respects that energy. Not because it's loud, but because it's unshakable. Confidence walks into uncertainty and doesn't flinch. It meets challenge and doesn't bow. It stands in the storm and doesn't break. Because it was built before the storm ever came. Built when it was quiet. Built when it was hard. Built when quitting would have been easier. That's the kind of confidence nobody can take from you because you earned it. And what you earn, you protect. What you build, you carry. What you become, you own. Confidence is not something you wait for. It's something you create. People look at success like it's a moment, a big break, a lucky opportunity, one perfect decision. They think life changes in an instant. But real change is quiet. It happens in the small choices, in the tiny habits, in the moments nobody posts about. Your life is built one day at a time, and every day. You are voting for the person you are becoming, one choice at a time, one action at a time, one habit at a time. No one wakes up successful. They wake up committed, committed to showing up, committed to doing the work, committed to staying consistent, because consistency beats intensity. You don't need to be perfect. You need to be persistent. It's not about doing everything. It's about doing the right things over and over again. And most people quit too soon. They try for a week. They push for a month. They get tired when results don't come fast. And they walk away, not because it didn't work, but because it didn't work fast enough. Growth doesn't rush. It builds brick by brick, step by step, rep by rep. And those bricks don't look impressive alone, but stacked together, they build something unbreakable. Habits are invisible architects. They design your future without asking your permission. Your routines shape your results. Your patterns shape your destiny. What you repeat, you become. If you repeat excuses, you become stuck. If you repeat effort, you become strong. If you repeat discipline, you become dangerous. And the scary part is how easy it is to drift. You miss one day, then another. Then it becomes normal. And normal becomes your ceiling. You stop pushing. You stop dreaming. You stop believing in more, not because life defeated you, but because you stop fighting for yourself. Daily habits are either lifting you up or pulling you down. There is no neutral. Every action is a step forward or a step away. You don't see it in a day. You feel it in a year. You don't notice it in a week. You live it in a decade. That's why your habits matter more than your goals. Goals give you direction. Habits get you there. You can write down a dream, but only your daily actions turn it real. Dreams without discipline stay dreams. Dreams with discipline become plans. Plans with action become reality. And reality doesn't care what you want. It responds to what you do. Every time you choose effort, you build momentum. Every time you choose comfort, you slow yourself down. And momentum is powerful. It makes hard things easier. It makes heavy things lighter. It makes impossible feel reachable. But momentum only comes from movement. You can't think your way forward. You have to move. And movement starts small. 5 minutes of focus, one workout, one page, one step. Small wins build belief. Belief builds confidence. Confidence builds courage, and courage changes lives. But it starts with habits, with showing up when it's boring, with staying consistent when it's uncomfortable, with trusting the process when the results are invisible. Because one day, without warning, everything clicks. The strength you build shows, the discipline you train shows, the patience you practice shows, and people call it luck. But you know the truth. You earned it. In the mornings you didn't want to get up. In the days you wanted to quit. In the moments you wanted to settle. Your habits were working, building, stacking, shaping. And now they stand behind you like an army you trained in silence. Daily habits don't just change your schedule. They change your identity. They change how you see yourself. They change what you believe is possible. And when your identity changes, your life follows. Champions are not born in stadiums. They are built in silence. When nobody is watching, when nobody is cheering, when nobody is counting the reps, they are built in the mornings when the bed feels warm, in the nights when the body feels heavy, in the moments when quitting would be easier than continuing. A champion is not someone who never falls. A champion is someone who never stays down. They don't wait for perfect conditions. They don't wait for confidence. They don't wait for permission. They train anyway because champions understand something most people ignore. Talent gets attention, but training gets results. You can be gifted and still fail. You can be skilled and still lose. You can be smart and still fall behind. But if you train your mind, you become unstoppable. A champion's mind is sharp. It doesn't break under pressure. It doesn't fold under fear. It doesn't run from struggle. It stands tall when the weight gets heavy. It stays calm when the moment gets loud. It stays focused when distractions try to pull it apart. Because the real competition is not outside. It's inside. It's the voice that says stop. It's the doubt that says you're not enough. It's the fear that says you're too late. And every day you either listen to that voice or you train it into silence. Champions don't silence fear. They walk through it. They don't pretend the pressure isn't there. They carry it. They don't avoid pain. They use it. Because pain teaches. It teaches resilience. It teaches discipline. It teaches respect for the grind. A champion's mind doesn't look for shortcuts. It looks for growth. It understands that every setback is a lesson. Every loss is a message. Every failure is feedback. And instead of breaking, it adapts. Instead of quitting, it learns. Instead of hiding, it rises. Champions don't train when they feel like it. They train because it's who they are. They don't need motivation. They have identity. They know what they stand for. They know what they're building. They know what's at stake. And when the world tests them, they don't panic. They've been here before in the early mornings, in the lonely nights, in the quiet hours when nobody cared. They built themselves when nobody was watching. So when the moment arrives, they are ready. Not lucky, ready. They don't ask, can I do this? They say, I trained for this. They don't hope for victory. They expect it because they earned it. A champion's mind is patient. It doesn't rush success. It respects the process. It knows that greatness takes time, that strength takes struggle, that growth takes pain, and it embraces every step because every step is building something powerful, something unbreakable, something dangerous to doubt. Champions don't look for comfort. They look for challenge. They don't avoid the hard road. They choose it because they know the hard road builds hard people. People who don't fold, people who don't flinch, people who don't settle. And settling is the enemy. Settling kills dreams. Settling steals potential. Settling turns warriors into spectators. Champions refuse to watch life from the sidelines. They step into the arena. They take the hits. They feel the pressure. They carry the weight. And they keep moving. Because a champion's mind is not afraid of losing. It's afraid of not trying. Afraid of leaving potential untouched. Afraid of walking away from greatness. Afraid of becoming average. And average is the real enemy. So they train. Not for applause. Not for praise. Not for attention. They train for themselves. For the life they want. For the person they're becoming. For the future they refuse to let slip away. They train when it's hard. They train when it hurts. They train when it's lonely. Because that's where champions are made.